Don't give up, you know it's true. You gotta do what you wanna do.
Hello guys, welcome to UPSC Gangsters. This is Shobna Pandit and let's start with the news analysis of August 27th. Okay, so there are quite a few things that you have to know. Let's start with the Gorkha land issue, because this Gorkha land issue has been discussed in many news articles and that is an ongoing problem, so we have to know this. Okay, so what's this all about? In West Bengal there is this growing problem related to Gorkha land. So this has its root right from the 1980s. So this problem is not something which is completely new. Okay, it hasn't cropped out of the blue right now, which is giving lots of issues. It has deep roots which started from 1980s itself. To be precise, it started from the year 1988. Okay, so from that time the agitation started. That was the first time the agitation started, which resulted in killing of nearly 1,000 people. So it was large scale even then, and now also it's continuing. So the problem that happened in 1988 is continuing even now. How? Because you must have heard in the news there are quite a few agitations that is happening inside West Bengal in the name of this Gorkha land problem. Okay, so now what is this Gorkha land problem? It is the same thing which can be very much related to the separate statehood which was asked by the Telangana people when the partition of Andhra Pradesh happened. Okay, so this was a very recent happening. You should be knowing the details as to which amendment was made to make Telangana a separate state and what are all the things that are happening right now inside the state post the separation, right? So this is something that has already happened, which is very similar, very similar to the Gorkha land issue that is happening now. Okay, so what is this Gorkha land issue? See, in West Bengal has an area which is dominated by Gorkhas. Okay, so these Gorkha community people are feeling very discriminated. They are saying that there is a lot of racial discrimination that is happening. There is no feeling of Indian, you know, they are feeling like a foreigner. The treatment is different for the people who are Bengalis and the Gorkhas. Okay, so they think that the advantages which are there given by the state, given by the government to the people of West Bengal is being very discriminatory, and that these people are not able to get the advantages properly. So now this is the same problem that started, as I told you, in 1988, which resulted in nearly 1,000 to more than 1,000 killings. Now it has like cropped up again in the year 2008 with the inception or the starting of a regional party called as Gorkha Janmukti Gorkha Janmukti Morcha. Okay, so this is a party, a regional party which was formed in 2008 in West Bengal. Okay, so these people were very much attached to this Gorkha land issue, so they brought this up again, and ever since that time the agitations have started, which has really taken a big picture, which has come to the big picture right now, because a lot of agitations have even stopped the NH10 transport. So what is NH10? The National Highway Transport, right? National highways are very important because that is where all the goods are being transported. So from one place to another, the goods are being transported. So that automatically becomes extremely important because it directly has its implications with the economy. The way the money flows is through the trade. And when trade activity is being shut or stopped, it is a big problem for the country. So that is why Gorkha land issue becomes extremely important, because the hartals, the strikes, the closing of all the shops and schools and offices were all done by these people, by this particular regional party, which really hampered and hindered the normal activity of people in West Bengal, right? So now, so what has come in the paper, in the business news, what is being covered? There is an article about the Darjeeling tea. Okay, so Darjeeling is a place which is in West Bengal. You must be knowing, everybody knows Darjeeling tea because it's wonderful to taste, isn't it? So we have an immense percentage we have a big percentage of Darjeeling tea which is exported to different countries. So you understand how important it is to our Indian economy, because export is what gives us a lot of money. The foreign exchange, which is extremely important for any economy to run, is based on the trade that that particular country is doing with other countries, isn't it? So this Darjeeling tea is being exported to other countries, which is bringing foreign reserves or foreign exchange to our country, which is extremely important for India's economy to grow. Right? Now the problem that has happened is the Darjeeling tea is not even available. You understood that? Yeah. So because of all these shutting up of the trade, shutting up of trade routes, and all the offices and shops and schools, everything was brought to a standstill because of these strikes which were organized because by these regional party, right? By this regional party. So because of that, everything, all the trade activity was stopped, and this Darjeeling tea was really hit badly. So the stakeholders or the shareholders, when they go for bidding, so what is a bidding process? Bidding process is something where there are lots of buyers in one place asking for the same product or bidding for the same product with different prices. Now whoever quotes the highest price is the person who is going to get the product. Okay, so this bidding process is how people get hold of the things like tea or coffee, because these are traded goods. These are called as cash crops, okay, which give major money or revenue to any economy. So now this particular cash crop, that is tea, Darjeeling tea, is not available for the bidders. The auction is there, people are going for bidding, but the tea is not there. Okay, so that is a very serious issue. A lot of stakeholders, the people who have invested in this particular industry, are really facing the brunt because it will hit their cash and the investment they have made with the foreign markets. You get that? So this is something which will really have implications directly on the Indian economy. So now that is why this particular issue is being taken by me, and the analysis is done on a very elaborate way, okay, because that's how you have to present your answers in the mains, wherein the current affairs which are happening right now, the important issues which are happening inside the country, has to be connected with its own roots. Right from the problem, right from the birth of the issue, you need to completely give the picture till now what is happening in the country, in the current affairs. You get that? So that is how you have to frame the answer. So that's why we're doing this in an extensive way. Now, in this Gorkha land issue, there are certain political terms and economic terms that you have to cover for your answer. For one, you have to know the different years in which progress has been done in this particular issue. It starts right from 1988, then it progresses to 2005, then it progresses to 2008 when this regional party was made, and it comes to 2011 and the current scenario, which is in 2017, which is the hartals and the strikes which have brought the National Highway 10 to a standstill, and life also is made quite miserable there in the northeastern region. Okay, so that is what we are going to deal in great detail, because this is something you have to know whenever it comes to a topic which is discussed regarding the northeastern states, including West Bengal. It becomes the problem of insurgency. Okay, whenever you come to the borders, the borders are left, right, and upper and niche, right? All the four borders we are sharing with four different countries: China, Bangladesh, you have Pakistan. Okay, now let's move into the 6th schedule. What is the 6th schedule and how is it related to this Gorkha land issue? Okay, 6th schedule of our constitution deals with 4 northeastern states and how they have gained their autonomy. Okay, so which 4 states am I talking about? It is Assam, Tripura, Meghalaya, and Mizoram. Okay, so these are the 4 states which has autonomy. It is autonomous state. So what is an autonomous state? Autonomy means independence. There are certain legislations or laws that they can make by themselves. They don't have to be completely dependent on the central government. So that is called as autonomy, and these regions, these states are an exception. They are very different from the other states in India. Just like Jammu and Kashmir, there are lots of different laws. The way it is being applied to Jammu and Kashmir is very different from the way it's applied to all the other states in the country of India, right? So the same way, these 4 northeastern states that I talked about also have very different laws and legislations, right? The way it is applied to them is completely different from the rest of India. Now, how does Gorkha land come into the picture? See, 6th schedule, I told you what it is, right? In 1988, what happened is, the 6th schedule has a clause called as the clause number 11. So in that, there was this line which said that everything, each and every problem is being detailed and analyzed and set right. So thereafter, there is going to be no discussions on this matter of giving a Gorkha land completely. See, this regional party, Gorkha Janmukti Morcha, this particular party has a problem with the 6th schedule. Okay, so what problem does it have with the 6th schedule? There is clause 11 inside the 6th schedule. Okay, and this particular clause says that all the problems and affairs which are related to the Gorkha land issue is already sorted, done and dusted and finished. Okay, so this is what that particular clause 11, which is under the schedule 6, says. Okay, so it basically means that whatever issue was surrounding this Gorkha land or the separate statehood for Gorkha land is concerned, it is all done, discussed, and it is over. So it is not to be brought up again, which is against the demands of this particular regional party, isn't it? Because the problem is going on even now. So how is this over for them? It's not over for them. So schedule 6, that is the clause number 11 under the schedule 6 is not okay with the regional party. Hence, they are fighting against it. In 1988, this problem is actually very unique. What happened is the central government came up with the Darjeeling Gorkha Hill Council Act. Okay, Darjeeling Gorkha Hill Council Act, and made the Darjeeling Gorkha Hill Council. Okay, through the act, they made the Hill Council. Now, this was a very nice plan which they made, but the people did not like this. Okay, so they had to just again resort to some other solution. People did not like what they decided in 1988, isn't it? So in 2005, what they did is they made a self-governing autonomous region under 6th schedule. So this is why Gorkha land becomes very unique. Okay, so under the schedule, they gave this decision that it will also come like Assam, like Tripura or Mizoram. Even this particular place, Gorkha land hill, is going to come under the 6th schedule. Okay, so this also has autonomy. It has independent powers, so it can make different laws and legislations just like Jammu and Kashmir or the 4 states which is given under the 6th schedule. So did you understand why it's unique? So this happened in 2005. Now coming to 2011, 2011 is when this particular regional party was started. Okay, Gorkha Janmukti Morcha. So they came and they started their agitation again. Okay. Okay, so let's move on to the next topic. It is about the solar power, the rooftop solar power in India. Okay, there are many countries in which it is a big hit and they're doing it with ease. But in India, it is a big problem. It's still not flourishing as much as needed, as much as expected. So why is this problem? Right? There are a few reasons which are given as to why we are not able to pick up the speed as far as solar power manufacture is concerned. Okay, the first reason which is being given by experts is that the the manufacturing of goods that are needed for this particular solar power production is not being sourced from India. It's not being sourced from the domestic markets. We are always dependent on foreign countries to have the goods delivered to us. So what is happening here is the people who are consumers are always dependent on foreign markets even for a minor or a major repair. So the guarantee is missing here, and because of that people are losing their confidence to come out and invest more on the solar power generation, which is the rooftop solar power generation we are talking about. So this is one particular reason which is coming to the next reason, next hindrance that we have in implementing this solar power from the rooftops is that, see, there are two different types of buildings in India where we can install a rooftop solar panel, right? One is the commercial rooftops you have for offices and stuff, and the other one is a residential rooftop which we have for our houses, right? So the business model has to be made. The business model which is made for commercial rooftops for solar power is making a lot of sense because there is a good enough profit making way for that. But then when you take the residential complexes, it is not that profitable. You know why? Because the residential complexes, first of all, have different sizes of roof, so all these things have to be taken into account. And another important issue comes into play here, that is, see, the power which is available for residential complexes through the normal power grid is much lower than the one that you will get after the installation of the solar panels. So why will anybody go for that? So that is also a problem. Now there is this installed capacity which is 1247 megawatt as of now. 1247 megawatt is what we have. That is the installed capacity which is as of now in India. Okay, and we intend to have the target hit to 40 gigawatts by 2022. Okay, so what I told you, 1247 megawatts is what we have as the installed capacity right now in India, and we want to hit the target of 40 gigawatts by the end of 2022, which is a far cry because we really need to buck up the activity to get to hit that particular target, because 1 gigawatt is equal to 1000 megawatts. So you do the math and know how difficult it is for us to just get there. Okay, so there is one more reason also, the discoms. What is a discom? Discom is the distribution companies will not be in a position to support the solar power panels being installed. Simple reason, because why will they want to lose their profits or their clientele? They already have a good enough clientele, lots of people who are clients of theirs. Now why will they want to shift their clients to someone else? Why would they want to share their clients with someone else who is now coming to this solar power panel business? So these are the three different issues which are being faced, which is very disadvantageous for us to implement the solar bidding process. Even in the bidding process, there was a lot of issues because the bidders who were there to actually buy were in for a shock, because they did not assume, they could not assume what will happen in future. So they did not know that they have to be prepared for a 18% hike. You know, 18% is what we have for input goods. Input cost of GST is 18% right now, and the bidders were not ready for this. In fact, they were expecting just 5%. So you know how much of an increase is there. This also was disadvantageous for people who wanted to invest. Okay, there is this particular news saying that USA is investing, the investors in USA are investing in small capital stocks, okay, small cap stocks or shares. Now, nothing much is important from this particular article, but you have to know this economic term. What is this? Small cap stock. Okay, so to make you understand this, you have to know what is this market capitalization. Okay, what is meant by market capitalization? Take a company. If a company is the value of the company is called as market capitalization. You know, there are the companies which are there in the stock market exchange, in the stock exchange, come and trade their shares, isn't it? So the number of shares which is available of that particular company and the price at which that particular stock or share is being sold at the stock exchange into it, or multiply these two, will give the value of that stock of that particular company. So how many shares of stocks are there of that particular company, and what is the price, the market price of that particular share or stock of that particular company, will give you the market capitalization of that particular company. Okay, so this is something which will be able to give you an idea as to the value of the company is high or low, depending on the low market capitalization or high market capitalization. Okay, so this is market capitalization for you, and if the market capitalization is low, then you know it is a low cap stock, and if it is high, you know it is a high cap stock. Okay, so now US market, that is US investors, are going and investing more in the low cap stocks. Okay, so now you know what is a low cap stock, you know what is market capitalization. That's it. These are the two economic terms that you have to know. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, there is this very small tiny bit of news here. The urban cooperative banks of Maharashtra, the Maharashtrian government is going to come out with a law or legislation to help the small savings account holders. Okay, so people who are having small saving accounts in the urban cooperative banks are going to be given a law or legislation which is going to favor them. You know why? Because whenever these kind of banks are being hit by bad times, when there is a lot of laws or all these problems occur in these urban cooperative banks, the people who are really in the bad position or who are hit the worst are these people with the small savings. Okay, so the Maharashtrian government wants to help them, and that is why it is going to come with a law or legislation to safeguard the interest of small account holders, small saving account holders in Maharashtra. Okay, now this is something which is related to something we discussed few minutes back. Okay, the MNRE, that is the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, has come out with tariff-based bidding. Okay, so does it ring a bell? Because we were just discussing this. Because renewable energy, solar energy, right? So solar energy is one of the major renewable form of energy. So the bidding, I told you, had problems. The people who came to invest in the bidding were in for a shock because they could not assume that it will be so high after the GST change, right? 18% on input cost. So now they have addressed this issue because MNRE, that is the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, has come out with tariff-based or tariff-adjusted bidding. Okay, so according to the tariff, the bidding will happen. So what is tariff actually? If you don't know what a tariff is, it's simple. It is the amount or the price which is adjusted according to the tax. Okay, the amount of a product which will be adjusted according to the tax. Okay, the prevailing tax amount is called as the tariff. Now the bidding will happen adjusted to the tariff. Okay, so it's going to be becoming easy for the investors to invest in solar business. Now, what all are the positives apart from this? The risk is going to really reduce because the investors will be happy to come and invest because they're not putting any risk into it. The transparency is going to really increase. It's not going to be inside or behind the closed doors. It's going to be known to everyone. It's going to become more transparent and it's going to be more affordable. It's going to be made more affordable so that people can buy these investments through bidding. Okay, they can buy these products through bidding. Now, there is another thing that you have to know, which is PPA, that is called as the Power Purchase Agreement. Okay, Power Purchase Agreement is being kept for 25 years now. Okay, in this 25 years, there is not going to be any amendment in this. Okay, people cannot come and change as they please. There is not going to be any amendment. That is, there is not going to be any changes in this particular Power Purchase Agreement. And then there's one more thing. The unilateral termination is not allowed. Unilateral termination is what? There are two people, right? One person who is selling it the seller and the purchaser, the person who is going to purchase. So any one person cannot stop or terminate anything. So that is called as unilateral termination. So unilateral termination, as far as the seller or the purchaser is concerned, is just not allowed. And the other thing that I told you is the amendment or the changing of this agreement is also not allowed. Okay, so these two things have also come, and this whole PPA, now this agreement is coming under the energy policy and commercial losses. Okay, AT and C, aggregate, technical and commercial losses. What is aggregate? Aggregate is something which is a mean or an average. When there are multiple values given, you take all the values, you make the sum or the added, you add all the values and divide it by the number of values that is given, and that will give you the mean or the aggregate or the average of all the values given, right? So that is calculated in the power sector, and that value will be brought to a much lesser number if you use smart meters. Okay, so this is the news that you have, and you know what is AT&C, which is aggregate, technical and commercial losses. So this can be brought down, and even power theft can be brought down by the use of meters which are digital or smart meters. Okay.